outside. All right, I think we should get started. So, so this is the Babycastles Academy session today. Thank you for coming, and thank you to Babycastles and everyone at Babycastles for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I'm still staring at the Babycastles website. Maybe I can make myself full screen. Yeah, okay. My name is Dan Lichtman. I am an artist and I'm an educator. I guess I'll tell you just for 1 minute or so about myself, and then I'm going to tell you all about the workshop. So I work in performance and video and installation and coding and making games. A lot of my work is about kind of relationships of trust between viewer and performer through media interfaces. But more recently, I've been getting into making games and experimenting with Unity. A lot of this came about because I've been teaching an experimental game, an art game making class for the last couple semesters. So today we're going to be using Unity, and if you don't know about Unity, Unity is a game. It's a game engine that a lot of people use. A lot of professional tools. A lot of professional games are made in Unity, but also there's a big scene of non-professional people that use Unity. It's free as long as you're making under a certain amount of money from your games, which is really great. It is a challenging tool to use. It has a bit of a learning curve, but one of my main goals today is to make that a lot easier. So what we're going to do, the workshop is called DIY Scene Design and 3D Modeling. I think that's what it's called. And we're going to learn some techniques that I've been working on to make it really easy to make very rich and layered and fun scenes, fun-looking scenes in Unity in your games, and also to kind of make objects, to make sort of pseudo 3D objects using drawings and photos. So let me get a little more specific about that. We're going to be learning how to make we're going to make drawings and then learn how to scan them and take pictures of them and turn them into transparencies, transparent PNGs, and bring them into Unity, and then make these very impressive looking flat objects in Unity that follow the shape and look of your drawing, and that leads to it leads very quickly to a kind of interesting result in the scene that's very easy to fool around with and play with. We are also going to we're going to do it with drawings. We're going to learn how to crop photos, just any photos that you take, and bring them into Unity and make your objects, the outline of your objects, follow these cropped photos that you took. We're also going to learn how to take 360 photos, which you can all do on your phone, any modern Android or iPhone smartphone. And we're going to learn how to bring those in as a skybox to Unity, so that the view outside of your scene can be filled up with a photo of a real space that you took. And what's the last thing we're going to do? We're going to briefly, hopefully if we have time at the end, learn how to take 3D models, even models that you find on the internet, and use solid color shaders. So we're going to remove all the kind of texture detail of those models and just get really interesting 3D shapes in space. So all of that will be a lot more specific as we go through it, but I wanted to talk really quickly about why I started working on these tools. The reason is because in teaching Unity, a couple courses in Unity last semester and this semester, I really wanted a way for students to very quickly be able to be creative and feel kind of unencumbered by the technical aspects of using Unity and scene design and 3D modeling. And those things are, at least in their traditional way, very encumbering. They're very difficult to use. It takes a lot of expertise. It takes a lot of time. And even as a skilled individual, someone that has experience with these things, it takes a huge amount of time to get, kind of professional, commercial quality types of results. Furthermore, I'm not really interested in that kind of professional output. I'm interested in types of game design and scene design that look handmade and look fun and inspired by a kind of, individual's relationship to materials and space and objects and images, rather than really commercial skills at making things look photorealistic or looking kind of like very professional cartoon and making professional animations. So I developed these skills to teach in my classes, and also I found that when I've been working on my own scenes and games and projects, I just find it so much more compelling and interesting to be able to work quickly and intuitively. So, without further ado, I think we should get started. So we're going to use Unity, like I said. I'm going to try my best to assume very little knowledge of Unity on the viewer's part, on your part. I have a feeling if you've really never used it before, it might be hard to go from zero to following everything in this workshop, but hopefully we'll get close to that. And I think if you've used it even a little bit in the most rudimentary ways, it'll be pretty easy to follow along. All right, so here is Unity. I'm going to make a new scene. So basically where is scene here? Okay. So in Unity, I'll give you a brief introduction. This is the default layout. In Unity, this is your scene window where you see what is in your scene. Right now, there's nothing much in our scene. This is your project tab, and in your project tab, you have all your assets, which include all the files that are associated with your project. We have some scenes. You can't see my Unity. Oh, right. Now, how's that? Thanks for your feedback. Cool. I'll start over. So, this is Unity. Here's an example scene that I just kind of slapped together as a demonstration. This is our scene view. You've got some tools for moving around here. The hand tool pans this view around. If you right click with your mouse, if you have a mouse, or right click on your trackpad, however you do that, usually with 2 fingers, you can pan around. You can zoom in with the scroll wheel. This is our project window. And in our project tab, which is usually down here, although it could be somewhere else, we have all of our assets. So assets are all the files that are associated with your project. And that will become more clear as we go what I mean by that. But for example, here are some scenes. Scenes are specific layouts of objects that you're working with, kind of like a level in a game has your objects arranged in a certain way that you want, according to the layout of your level. You also have, things like photos. Here I have some drawings that I'm going to fool around with that we're going to use in our scenes. Anyway, this is your project tab. This is your hierarchy. Hierarchy is a list of all the things that are in the scene. So right now, for example, I have my player. I've got these objects that I put in there. And I've got a plane. A plane is like a big ground surface that is often used for walking on. So that is, that's my 30-second introduction to Unity. Oh yeah, this is the inspector where you can modify the properties of all your objects that are in your scene. So the first thing I want to do is let's see, I want to get a drawing into my scene. So I'm going to start with an empty scene. Usually there's a default skybox. Default. I'm going to start with that. Okay. So usually your scene will start like this. And we're going to put some things in the scene. And I want to, let's say I want to put an object, a tree in my scene, a drawing of a tree. So I'm gonna, just looking over there on my camera, that's a drawing that I made. You can all definitely make a drawing like this. I'm no expert at drawing, but I like to do it for fun, especially when it's going to go into a 3D environment. I'm going to take my phone. There's my phone. That's what my phone looks like. And I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to put it, try to get it in some even light. Take a picture of it. Okay. There's my picture. And I have a Mac. And the easiest way to get a photo from my phone onto my computer is to airdrop it. I'll do that right now. I think you probably saw that notification. I'm going to bring this in here. Okay, so I'm going to use Photoshop to cut the drawing out of the background because I have had better luck using Photoshop than free tools like Krita, even though I really prefer to use free tools. So right now I'm going to use Photoshop, but hopefully I will learn soon how to do a better job in open source software. So, okay, here's Photoshop. I'm not going to go into tons of detail about the photo editing part, but I've got my, yeah, Leah's suggesting remove background. That is a very good tool actually. I've got my image here, and let's see, I can go to select color range. That's a good quick, and I can get a grayscale image, shows what I've selected. And I can choose how, you can see if I get very tolerant, it will show a lot of variations in the page. I kind of want some, mostly to get the tree, but if I get too intolerant, I don't get enough. So I'm going to go with about this. All right. So now I've selected the tree. In Photoshop, I need to change this to a regular layer. And now I've selected my tree and I want to delete the rest. So I'm going to go to select inverse. All right, you can see that. And I'm going to crop it down. All right, and I'm going to also make this more, I'm going to make it more saturated because it will look better in, I'll leave that. It'll look better in Unity if it's a little more colorful. And then I can also make it, let's see, change the levels a bit to make it, yeah, a little more contrasty. All right, let's go with that. And then I can save it as a PNG. I'll just save it in here. I'll call it, I got a comment, blue spruce. Thanks, Austin. Blue spruce. All right, I saved it as a PNG in here. And now I'm in my Unity project. I have some stuff, but if you have a new project, you won't have much in here. In your project window, I find it really helpful to have folders for the different types of things I'm working with. So right now, I made a drawing, and I'm going to have other drawings, so I made a folder called drawings. Maybe I'll make a new folder and put all this other stuff in that folder for now. And I'm going to bring my blue spruce into there. All right, so now we're going to learn some Unity things. It's in Unity, and I need to change some settings. So when I click my image, I see some of its settings in here. And the thing I need to change is where it says texture type. I need to set it to this, a sprite. Do I? Maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe that's just for UI stuff. Okay, skip that, sorry. I'm gonna make a new material. And I'm gonna call this blue spruce material. Okay, you might be wondering what the difference between this image and a material is. This is just an image file, and a material is a thing that can be applied to an object in your scene. So usually you don't apply images directly to objects. You make a material where you can control how that looks on the object, and you put that on the object. So I've got my material. I'm going to take my image and drag this to albedo. So this is the thing that will determine the image that the material renders on the object. And then this is a key thing. I'm going to set this rendering mode to fade. Okay, now let's make an object in our scene. I'm going to make click here, 3D object, quad. So a quad is sort of like a small plane. It's a small flat surface that I'm going to put my object on. And you can see it down there. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to move around so I can see it. And I'm going to drag my material to the quad. And there it is. Now we have a drawing in 3D space. And even just scrolling around in the scene, I think it already looks kind of interesting. Okay, now one thing to notice is that my object in my scene is called quad because I made a quad. So I find it useful to name it something descriptive. Blue spruce, how about that? And I can use these tools to move it around or change its scale. So for example, this tool, I can use these arrows to move it around. I can scale it. When you only have one thing in your scene, there's not much to compare it to, but I'll leave it like that for now. All right, now one thing that's kind of fun to do is make a bunch of them. So I'm gonna select this and go to Edit, Duplicate, or Control D, and make a few. And now I'm gonna move them apart from each other. Maybe even rotate it a little bit. Two, three is still in there. I can also, it's a spruce grove. Yeah, it's a grove of blue spruce. I really appreciate the comments. It's nice to feel like I'm interacting with people while we're doing this, so thank you. Move this around. I can move my camera down a little bit. Maybe rotate that a little bit. Last one still in the same place. Over here. Rotate it. Maybe this one would be a little bigger. Maybe just taller. Maybe I'll change the heights of them. Cool. Okay, here's my spruce grove. Grove, I think. Okay, so does it matter if you make a prefab? Does that help in any way? Well, okay, so what is a prefab? A prefab is a object in Unity that has certain settings and combinations of things attached to it already that you can then bring into your scene and make use of. So we're going to actually use a prefab player today, which you'll be able to download so that you don't have to worry about scripting or understand too much about the details of how a player works. For something as simple as this, I don't think it really matters that much if you use a prefab, but you could, and we could demonstrate that. You can make a prefab by dragging this here. Now I've got a blue spruce prefab, and if I drag it back, this is a copy of that. But I'm going to leave that maybe for another time to talk about. 1 second. Okay, so here is one way of getting these into a scene. I wanted to show you another strategy that works if you have an iPhone that I think is kind of interesting. So I've got a picture here. I mean, it's not a picture. I got a blank piece of paper. Here's a black crayon, and I'm gonna draw. What should I draw? I'm gonna draw a water bottle. So I'm just going to draw that real quick. And this is based on a water bottle that I can see right now. I'm almost done. And I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay, are you ready? There's a water bottle. All right, an interesting way to get a very high contrast photo that's useful for this. Thanks, love it. I love it too. I am going to, okay, so I'm using my phone right now. I'm opening the notes. This is a trick that I think is really cool that no one seems to really know about. I'm opening my notes. I'm making a new note. There's a new note. That's what a new note looks like. Okay, and I apologize that this is just for iPhones. I think there's probably a similar thing for other phones, but I don't know it. I'm gonna click the camera picture right here. And if you can see, it says you can take a photo, which is what you usually do, but you can also scan a document. I'm gonna press scan. All right, so here's my screen for, picture of me in the phone. Scanning a document. And there are some settings. Settings are up here on the top. Very high-tech screen sharing going on. I'm going to press black and white. And the black and white setting is like it's like a Xerox, an old photocopier that only does literally black and white, no grayscale. And I'm going to take a scan of my drawing. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to press keep scan. You don't have to remember all these steps. You'll probably you'll figure it out. But this is now what it looks like on my phone. Already like perfectly made for this. And then I go into my, I press done. Oh, and then I have to press save. You have to press save a couple times in a kind of surprising way to get it into your notes. Now I'm going to open my notes. Notes, new note, there it is. It's a new note. I accidentally took one by mistake, although that looks potentially interesting to use, but I'm going to open this, click that, and I can, how do I do this? I right click, this is also kind of awkward, right click, export as PDF. Here's my, I'm going to save this in my drawings. I'm going to save this as Tiny Scanner app. Cool. What did I draw? A bottle. And now, drawings, bottle. It's a PDF. Very strange, but that's what you get from the scanning app. I'm going to open the PDF in Photoshop. select this page. There it is, already almost, perfectly ready for our demonstration. I'm going to crop it a little bit. And I am going to, I'll do color range again. Okay, so I selected the white. And I'm going to delete that. And I'll save this as a PNG. Bottle PNG. Oh, I already have a, no, I don't have bottle PNG. Okay, save that. I'm going to bring it into Unity. There it is. Make a new material, same as before. Bottle material. You can open PDFs in Photoshop. I'm going to drag this to albedo. In my bottle material, I'm going to set this to fade. All right, and now I'm going to make a new quad. There it is, quad, it's right there. I'm going to rotate this quad around a little bit, and I'm going to put that on. Did it go in there? Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to get materials onto a certain object, and you can also put it in here. There it is. Bottle. Let's see, I'm going to make this one, maybe I'll make this really big. Make the whole, put my grove inside the bottle. Don't know, I'm winging it. I don't know, what do you think? I'm not sure if I like that. Maybe it should be just kind of a tree-sized bottle object, like this. Okay, and maybe I'll make another bottle. Rotate it a little bit. I'm using keyboard shortcuts for these tools. You can, if you're into this, you can easily look up what the keyboard shortcuts are. Okay, there's a bottle. All right, let's get a skybox. I'm going to save my progress. Okay, so skyboxes add a lot of a lot of visual detail to the scene. You can, to get a skybox, you can download. I'll show you. There's an app. Unfortunately, it's Google. It's the only free one that I've found that works well. There's an app called Google Street View. When you open it, it looks like this. I think it's designed for taking photos and uploading them to Street View. And in Street View, you can press this orange button and get a new, it lets you, it has a setting called Take Photosphere. So you can do that. And then what happens is it gives you instructions, and you have to just follow this dot around, which I'm sort of doing now in this funny way by looking at the screen. And you just follow this dot around, and it works on its own. So I'm going to show you, and what happens is it saves it in the app, and then you can export it to your computer. So I already have some skyboxes some 360-degree photos on my computer. One of them is of a forest. The photos look like this. And this one is a backyard full of stuff. So I am going to bring, which one should I bring in? I'm going to bring in the garden one. So I've got this garden 360. I'm going to make a new material because skyboxes are materials. So I'll call this garden skybox. I realize garden is kind of it's a backyard. Garden is kind of an English way of describing that. It's a, it's a kind of a messy concrete garden. Okay, so here's my material. No, that's my photo. In my material, I'm going to change the shader. I need to set what shader I want for a garden. Okay, feedback. Cool, thanks. I need to change a shader. I go in here, skybox panoramic is what I want. And then I drag my photo here. That's it. Okay, now I go to I want to get my lighting settings window. That's where I choose the skybox. So window, rendering, lighting settings, skybox material, and I can drag this, I think. Yeah, there it is. Into there. And now if I look around my scene, I can look around the skybox, look around and see the skybox, and move around, see my things move around inside there. Another thing that surprisingly it took me a little while to discover that's really cool is you can have solid color skyboxes. So, which is very simple but can have a really interesting effect. So I might make another material. Anyone want to vote on a color in the chat? I'm going to call it color lavender. Okay, now I have to find lavender. Let's see. I don't know. Well, I don't even know. What is lavender? I dug myself a hole here. Soft, delicate purple. Like that? Ah, maybe like that. Periwinkle? Much lighter. All right. I don't know. I don't know if that's lavender. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna open my lighting window again, and I'm going to, oh, that didn't work. The shader, huh. Skybox, let's see, panoramic. Okay, maybe I have to backtrack. Tint material, I gotta find lavender again, damn. There it is. Okay, how's that? Can I move my camera image down like this? Can you drag myself and put yourself in the bottom right? Yes. I see what you mean. Like that. Wait, I'm waiting for it to update on Twitch. There it is. Cool. So I think this is very cool already. I think we've already spent, can I show the settings you selected? Yes, I can. So I made, tell you what, I'll start over. Delete that. I'm going to make a new material. I'm going to set this material to a skybox again. I actually don't know. I'll do panoramic again, like that. And now instead of dragging a photo to here, I'm going to just choose this tint color. Damn, I have to find a color again. Like that. Oh, my alpha is, I'll put my alpha all the way up. Swatches, no swatches. Okay, chose a color. Now I'm going to lighting settings, and I'm going to drag this material there. There. You know what? I liked it a little lighter before. Wait, that's lavender. Wait, is that positive comment or negative comment? Positive, right? How about that? Cool. Maybe a little darker. Okay, so all the things we've been doing are really basic, but I actually find this really exciting because I think this this 3D scene already looks, to me at least, way more interesting than, you know, at least according to my taste, than, you know, really detailed, immaculate 3D modeling and texture design and things like that. This looks, you know, handmade, it's surprising, it's kind of bizarre, and I would truly enjoy playing a game in this grove of spruces and water bottles. Okay, so we've got our skyboxes, um, we've got some drawings in there. Why don't we put a photo object in there? So, and I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, so I have a photo of a plant. There it is. There's my photo of a plant. And I'm going to open this in Photoshop. And I'm not going to, I don't think I'm going to, in detail, cut out this plant. But I'm going to show you how I would do it in Photoshop. And hopefully there are similar ways to do it in, you know, Krita or other tools. Where is my, here. I'm going to use the quick selection tool, which is kind of like a modern version of the magic wand. And I can just select in here. And it's pretty smart. Do you guys see, can you see the crawling ants, the marquee? Yeah. Let's say I selected too much here. Crawling ants, don't you know that from the old days of Photoshops? I selected too much, so I'm going to press Option. Oh, Option didn't work. I know, because I went into the Zoom tool. I'm going to go back to my Magic Selection tool, press Option to unselect, and you can use the same tool, but set it to unselect. So now I'm deselecting the background. Lee, would something like this work in remove background? I don't know. You could try it. And I want to select, you know, this bit coming off. It might even work better. Why do anything ourselves? Okay. And in Photoshop, if I press Q, I get the quick select tool and I see the quick mask and I see I've, you know, done an okay job. But I'm not going to do this whole thing now because this is not really a Photoshop session. But once you get what you want, you can delete the background, inverse my selection, delete. No, delete. Okay, rough job, but export as PNG. I'm not going to do that because I did a better job another time. And I'll show you the job I did another time here, potted plant PNG, like that. Not perfect, but good enough, especially for our purposes. And I'm going to bring that into Unity. Is it in here? I don't think it got in here. Let's try again. It's a PNG, it should work. There it is. Wait, no. Did I do the wrong one? Potted plant.png. What is going on? Why does it have the whole background? I don't know. You know what? I think I have this imported already, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit and get a copy that was already in here correctly. Thank God I didn't delete everything from what was in the scene before. All right, let's see if this works. I'm gonna make a new quad again. There's my quad. Do you want me to try remove background? Should we try it? Let's try it. Remove background. Upload a file. I wonder if it will take the iPhone format. I bet it will. Choose for upload. Oh my God. Or, oh my do, it's amazing. That's what my 2-year-old son would say. Download HD. Oh my God, 1 credit. I don't have a credit. I'm gonna just download the preview. There it is. Lee, you're a genius. Let's put it in here. Okay. Potted plant BG. That's some good AI, isn't it? All right, let's see if this, does it have it? I think it should have a transparent background there. Yeah, that's what it usually looks like. It has a black background in Unity in the preview, if you get what you want. All right, I'm gonna put it there. Potted plant. Okay, it's still got a black background, and the reason is because I forgot the step. Okay, let's pretend this is a class. Can anyone remember what step I forgot? I'm not going to wait for you to answer because it's not a class and I can't even see you. So I'm just going to make a new material. That's the step I forgot. Potted plant material. Here's my material. I'm going to drag, can you see? Yeah, you can see the settings. I'm going to drag it to, maybe you didn't see this before, I think, because it was under my thumbnail. Albedo. Change this to fade. Now it has that funny, this is supposed to be a sphere with a material on it, but it's mostly transparent, so you don't even see it. I'm going to drag this to my new quad. There it is. I'm going to name this potted plant. By the way, it's 10 to 4, and I think I'm going to aim to be done around 4:15 or so, but we'll see. I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, you can see it's a little lower res. Maybe that's interesting. I think in some cases that's interesting. Right now, I'm not that excited about the lower res, but that's what we got. Okay. All right, that's how you do that. Basically, it's the same idea. It's lower resolution? Yeah, because of the background, because it only gave me a low res file. Should we put the other, let's put the other background on for a sec, the other skybox. Which skybox do you guys prefer, the color or the, maybe it's a little busy with this, but I can put a ground on it, and let's see if that helps. Let's make a plane, make it bigger, get some funky shadows. Oh, look at that. My plant is growing out of the ground. That's kind of nice. If I want to put a texture on the ground, I had some, kind of boring things. Like here's a picture of some granite that I took. There. Okay. Now if I look around, I have this forest scene. It's a little bit, we're not really talking spatially accurate rendering and interaction with 3D space. We're, being pretty approximate and sketchy here, which I like. All right, now let's get a player in the scene. So I have made, for your enjoyment, 2 prefab players, and by prefab I mean that I've kind of programmed them and arranged the camera and everything so that you can just stick them in your game and not worry about how they work. And I made 2 versions. I made a flying version and a grounded version. So the grounded version goes on the ground, and the flying version can fly. So we've got a ground, so let's try that. So, and also I can even put a link, which I don't know if the chat is archived, because you probably will want to get the link at some future point, but I'll put the link for a shared folder in the chat. Let's see, can I find it here? DIY scene design, get link, copy. There's the link. Okay, so I'm going to put my grounded player in here. There it is. Here's some settings. Let's see, what setting? I'm going to move my camera a little bit for now. Here's the settings for the player. I think you don't have to worry about any of the settings right now if you want to just leave it default. So now, here's the part we've all been waiting for. If I press play, cross your fingers for me and for all of us. Oh, look, this is something that happened. See that plant flying up in the air? It means I'm falling, which is pretty funny. That link is set to private. Okay, 1 second. I'm changing it right now. Restricted, anyone. Okay, anyone, not just me, can see it now. Okay, so I think what can happen is that your player, if your player is not over the ground, see my player is right here, your player will just fall. So what I want to do, and see my whole kind of game world is all the way over here. I need to move my player, so I can move my player just like any other object. I'm going to move it over there. This can be kind of confusing to navigate a world, a big world where it's hard to keep track of what is where. So I think what I'm going to do is click on a tree over there. I'm going to look at, okay, it is in a weird, can I do a top-down view? Probably. Maybe player. If I move my player, okay, now Lee, good tip. My player is over my plane now, and now if I double click that, I think my player is high up. So my plane, if I was being more thorough, we would have talked about this. My plane is in this random spot, y equals -25. I'm going to put my player at -20. Okay. So this is the kind of thing that if you've never used Unity, can be really frustrating and difficult. And once you use some tutorials and get used to things a little bit in Unity, you'll be able to navigate these kind of problems. Now my player is in my scene. All right, and I'm on the ground, and I can go in. Oh, I can't. These are things I forgot to describe this. So I can't walk through these objects. I think it's kind of fun to be able to walk through them, especially the ones that are drawings. So I'm gonna unclick that, and if I choose, so here's an advantage of naming things. Here are my trees. I'm gonna select them all. And here I've got a mesh collider And then the collider is a thing that can you guys see that? I'm going to move. Now you can maybe see it. The collider is the thing that stops you from walking through it. I'm going to uncheck that to deactivate it. Where should I put my, I can put it there. All right, and now I can I didn't do it for my bottles, so I can't walk through my bottles. I can walk through my trees now, which I quite like. One very annoying thing that I actually haven't found a good solution for is that quads are one-sided. So now I'm standing behind the trees and I can see their shadows in the middle of the screen here, but I can't see the trees. This is really annoying. And I haven't found any obvious solutions on the internet for this other than to make another quad behind it. Can I make a symmetrical copy of all the trees and just reverse them? Yeah, I think that's what you would have to do. You'd have to flip them vertically and then a quad behind it, and you'd have to just do it kind of manually. I'm sure there's an automatic way to do it, but that would be, I haven't done that. All right, so quad boxes, yeah. So what Lee's talking about is when you put a material on a box, by default, the material covers all the sides of the box. And if you want to have different materials on different sides of the box, you need to have a box that's made out of quads. I'm taking a drink of water. All right, let's put some more things in the scene, and let's delete. I'm going to delete this ground, or instead of deleting it, I can just make it inactive like this, so that it kind of goes away. Maybe I'm going to go back to the. Let me go back to. What happened to my lavender? There it is. Drawings. Shouldn't be in drawings. I'm going to put it in skybox. I'm going to go back to that so I can kind of see what's happening there. And I'm going to put some other drawings in that I had done before already. Here is, I need to make quads for these things. Quad. Sometimes you get these funny effects, which is that as you move them around, they get shadows on them. Can you guys see that? Anyway, I'm going to put my fern material, which I've already made, on this quad. Fern. I'll scale it up a bit. Okay, make a few copies of that. Trying to move it. Okay, Y is the green one. I'm going to move it. Try to move it up. I made it move it back. I want to sort of vary these in height, move them up and down a little bit. Rotate it. Four. I'm going to move this around. Okay, and what else? I've got a door. Oh, I've got mountains. I like the mountains. Where's my mountain material? I'm going to make a new material. I mean, a new material for my mountain. Mountain. Here, put it to fade. New quad for a mountain. Put this here. There's my mountain, little mountain right there. Make it kind of big. put that back there. Make another one. Oop. Move it here, rotate it. Okay. And now I'm going to get rid of my grounded player, or just make it inactive, and put a flying player. And my flying player, let's see, I'm going to just play it now. Oh, I think my flying player is not. Okay, I'm going to stop playing. Where's my flying player? My flying player is all the way over here again. So I'll do Lee's trick. Go to my top-down view for now. Move it over here. Whoop. And my flying player, I think it needs to go down. All right. Go in here into my objects. Oh yeah, I made I didn't make all these things able. I can't go through all these things, so I didn't take off the colliders. There I am. I have some other, you can really fool around with scale here. I have these big ring things that are really neat, I think. Make a quad ring. I think this, oh, that's a PNG. Maybe I need to make a material. And after this, I'm going to show you some ones that I've already made, so you can see some of the fooling around I've done. Ring material. There. Fade. All right. Ring. Where's my ring? There. And I'm going to make that ring. Let's see, I'll make it really big. It's got all these speckles in it, which is kind of cool. I think maybe like that, because I want to see it from below. Let's see. Let's play now and see if I can see it. Okay, it's a little bit too far. Move it down a little bit. Let's see. So I think it needs to go this way, down a little bit. Let's try now. No, can't, where is it? All right, I don't want to spend, oh, it's over there. See, you can get really interesting stuff in space by having these kind of speckled drawings. All right, so let's see, was there any topics that I wanted to cover that I missed? 1 second. That's mostly it. Okay, let me show you some scenes that I have made. Demo scenes. Oh, the one thing I didn't show you is 3D objects, but I'll show you that in this demo. So, okay, so first, here's a street scene with just some paintings that are put into it, which I think has this pretty cool effect. Hang on, I need to adjust my windows a little bit. 1 second. Okay, so Here's a painting my son made in here, just in the scene. This is a 3D view, a 360 view of a street, and you can see it's got this really kind of like lush material interaction between the transparent image and the street. Here is kind of a slick scene. Well, slick maybe just because it has a yellow background and it has these line drawings. So those drawings are based on this drawing that my son made. If I play it, it's some drawings and paintings. So it's creates this big open 3D space. My son is a level, well, he makes the kind of like assets and I make the level. You know what? I'm going to make all of these things. I'm going to get rid of the colliders. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is really neat, the way you can move around space like this. And I think if you're working on, a really developed game, you could, use these things to make your levels really interesting. I haven't really seen games that look like this. If anyone knows of games that kind of use these kind of techniques, I'd be really interested to see them. There's some mountains. All right, another one. This is, oh, what happened to my ground? If is the only I can think of. Oh, cool. Thanks for that link, Lee. This scene had a ground when I was looking at it before. There it is. Where's my player? Oh, maybe my player got too low. Okay, let's try it now. All right, no, it's not working. Okay, well, this scene had a ground. 10 beautiful postcards, cool. Not sure what is up with the ground right now. Oh, the collider is gone. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, here's a scene, kind of a landscape with all these different drawings. And I made a drawing of the door that I kind of put in front of the door in the skybox. There's the ring above. Pretty fun, I think. I would like to make one where you can kind of make levels like this and move between the levels to get to these different real kind of lush 3D drawing based views. I'll show you another one. So this one is has that forest skybox flying. Mountains and things all around. You kind of move around. And this one has some, so this is the last new thing I'm going to add to this. This one has some 3D models that I've put in here. They're 3D models that I just downloaded from the internet. And let's see. And the thing, so mouse skull. It's one of them. There's a mouse. There's one. And the thing that I've done to make it look, to give it this look, is to make the material, basically make the material have a solid color. There's some other things I did to this that you could contact me to ask me about, but the main thing is a solid color. And so you get these 3D materials in space, but that sort of come to, you can see them in space as you move around, but as elements on the screen, they look kind of 2D, which I think is a really cool effect. So I'm just moving around with my mouse. My player can kind of move through this scene in the woods. And then one feature that this player has, it can kind of have a slight fall to it. So it's falling down. If I do negative 1.5, let's try that, which is fun. So now it's falling by itself, and you can still move around, but has this pretty cool effect. And let's see, any other demo scenes? Yeah, so these are kind of like what I was doing in the demonstration. Yeah, I showed you this one. All right, so that is basically wraps up what I wanted to show you. August, which one were you referring to just now? Oh, the slow falling. Okay, let's look at that again for 1 second. So, like I said, the goal of all of this is to, which one was I falling? Was it the slow falling effect? This was, maybe it was in this one. Yeah. You know, the goal of all of this is to be able to make these really fun, um, exciting scenes that look really kind of handmade and DIY, um, and look kind of, you know, they look full of detail and they look full of, you know, rich, intuitive, kind of nimble, fun, easy design that anyone could do. Um, but they don't look like they're trying to look commercial or trying to look photorealistic. They don't look like they're trying to convince you of some high-tech 3D space that you've created. Um, and they also require very little skill. You need to be able to manipulate your way around Unity a little bit, but really only in a basic way. Um, so almost anyone could make scenes like this. And I think that's pretty exciting because I think the level of skill that you need to make things look, you know, how commercial games look is very high, and it's also, you know, it's time consuming, and it's also not necessarily the only stylistic route that people want to go down. So I think this is a really nice alternative. And in my own work and also in my classes with my students, people have made really interesting, fun, you know, bizarre stuff. Whereas when I've taught it before, trying to mimic, um, you know, trying to teach skills in a conventional way, people end up with kind of really cookie cutter, commercial looking, um, stuff, and they also end up downloading a lot of assets that look really generic, which is a lot less, you know, a lot less personal and creative. So yeah, that's how I went down this path. Um, does anyone have any? Oh yeah, Lee's mentioning Doodle Studio 95. I know you told me about that before. I've never tried that, but I think that does something kind of similar to what these do. I think Doodle 95, Doodle Studio costs some money, so that's one aspect of that. Um, you know, these tools are not perfect. The quads, it's hard to make them act like real 3D objects, um, but at least, you know, as a starting point, they can really look. They can look like they're full of life, full of kind of creative life, and full of. They really can make a 3D space, you know, rich and textured in a way that's hard otherwise. All right. I know that to support, maybe Lee, you could put the link again to support Babycastles. Babycastles depends on support from people that come to these programs and go to other things at Babycastles. And if you can click that link and make a donation, that would be very appreciated. If you've already made a donation, also really, you know, everyone's very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that. Babycastles is thankful for that. Yeah, you can do a one-time Venmo instead of a recurring thing if that seems right. Cool. Flantopia in August. Glad you thought it was cool. If any, I can hang out for a minute. If anyone has any questions they want to type into the chat or anything else, it will be on YouTube. So I'll hang out around for a minute, but otherwise we'll wrap up. Thanks for coming.